Hello, this is Sheila with Stamping Wishes. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my video and blog today. What we're going to be making is a candy box, and I kind of changed up the design. This is one we did in my club this month, and it came out really cute, but I decided since we're doing a blog hop, where it's Love is in the Air, I would do a Valentine version of it. The original, let me give credit, the original box design itself came from Samantha Clayton with Mixed Up Crafts. I happened to see her constructing a box, and I thought, what a good idea for a candy bar. And I plan on, making different sizes and stuff from it, but she had a really good video, and I'll put a link to her vlog so that if you want to go by and see what she did with it, which these are totally different, then you'll be able to watch that. But one of the unique things about it is you're able to pull it up and you get a pop-up design. And then this particular one, it's for a birthday. It says Sweet Wishes, and I didn't have the larger candy bar, so I just put what I had in there. But this is this particular one. I'll set it aside. This is the one we're going to actually be making today, and I decided to put a little card in the front of it, so it could be a card and gift all in one fell swoop. So this particular one does have the bigger candy bar in it, and it has I'm Ape Over You on it. Now when I constructed this, I noticed that this one didn't want to pop up as well as the other one, and I think that had to do with using the thicker foil paper. So today when we construct this one, we're going to be using something other than the foil so that it will not be so weighted down. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's get our stamping done first. We're going to be doing using two stamp sets. The Hey Love, we're using of course my favorite, the little skunk, and then we're going to use the ape, and we'll also be using I'm Ape Over You. And then on the second stamp set, we are using the Love You, we're using the hearts, and we're also using the Happy Valentine's Day. And I'll give you all the measurements and instructions as we go. So let's go ahead and get our stamping done so the ink can be drying, and then we'll color it real quick. And I'll probably speed up through parts of this because you probably don't want to, you're more interested in how the box is constructed than the coloring and stuff. So let's go ahead and stamp up our cute little gorilla here and make sure that, or ape, I'm not sure the difference between the two. And let's put him about right here. Okay, perfect. And let me go ahead and wipe that stamp off. The other thing that I don't know if you noticed on this pop-up that I did with him, and I'll do a little extra, I just loved this little heart from, I just realized I didn't have my framelits over here. I'll get them out that I used. But this heart that comes with the framelit set, I just loved it. So what I did was stamp an extra little ape, and then I cut out just his little hands and set on top of that heart so that I could use it. So that we'll be using a scrap to stamp a second one of him. So let's go ahead and get that. And here's my scrap here. Because again, I just mainly need the hands. So if it doesn't stamp up the whole body, that's okay, because I really don't need that. Okay, that's all we need there, and we'll hold that for coloring. And I'm gonna go get my framelits real quick so I can show you what framelits I use. The Stitch Label framelit dies, and I use this frame for both of the pictures, the one on the outside and the one on the inside. And then I also used our heart framelits, which I just absolutely love these. And this is the one I used to cut out this particular framelit. And that heart I was telling you about came from over here. And so I just thought it went real well with the stitched framelits because it's got the little stitch lines around it as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to our stamping and coloring. So now we're going to stamp our little skunk next on here. And then we'll start the coloring and get all the pieces together. That way when we get ready to construct it all, it'll all be ready to go. Okay, let's go ahead and put that there. Okay, very pretty. All right, let's go ahead and start coloring on these. Set these aside. The colors I'm using today was the two lipstick, lovely lipsticks, the light and the dark. And then I used the light smoky slate and also the dark smoky slate. The black, I had pulled it out, but I decided not to use it so that the features of the characters would show through the line design, which I thought it kind of took away from that when I was trying to do it otherwise. So let's go ahead and get started coloring. We're going to use for this one, we're going to go ahead and use the dark smoky slate, and I'm going to go around his face, because as you can see, I can color right over his face, and his features still come out, or her features, whichever she might be. And I'm going to real quickly, what I like to do when I'm coloring the skunk, because my mind gets to talk, well, I'm talking here with you guys, and sometimes I forget where did I want to put my white. So what I did was to take some of the Wink of Stella and color the areas that I want to remain white, like so. And I'm wiping it off because it's picking up a little bit of the ink, so I don't want to get it onto the drawing. And then or the coloring of the white in there. So let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay. And then we'll continue coloring our little oops, we forgot the tummy. Looks like I may have to get a new one. This one's starting to run out on me. Okay. And let's go ahead and do its tail. Stamp the greeting on our little skunk here, and then we'll be done with this one. And I went ahead beforehand and found where I needed this to be for setting up my stamp, and I'll double check and make sure it's still good before I put my magnet on. And that looks about right. It's a little bit off, so let's go ahead and I never seem to get them exactly after the first time, but I got it in the vicinity. But let's go ahead and change that so I know that I've got it exactly where I want it. Okay, that looks good there. Okay, so let's use our lovely lipstick and stamp up our little sign. And I'm just kind of barely tapping it because it's such a small stamp that I'm afraid if I push too hard on it, I'm going to get ink everywhere. Okay, and let's go ahead and come on down. Okay, that time I didn't get enough ink, so let's try it again. Perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and wipe this one off. Okay, and pull this one off. Now, this is the piece and that we're using. I'm going to go ahead and remove this tray so that it's out of our way. But this is the piece that comes in the front here, this layer here. And that particular layer of Whisper White is 3 1/8 by 7 1/4. Now what I'm putting on it, if you notice, was the at an angle the flowers. I just thought it kind of combined, the hearts, I thought it combined with the fact that she or he is throwing little hearts out. So I wanted to do the same thing, and I'm going to set this one up here to stamp about there. I'm going to bring it down so I'm not right on the edge there. Okay, set this up. Pick it up. Okay, and I am using behind it the base because I am using photopolymer stamp sets. So we want to be sure that we have the right layering on our Stamparatus. Okay. Very pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and move this. I'll clean it off so I don't hopefully get the ink on there on the other end before I'm ready for it. And I always like to dry my stamps off too before I start inking them up again. So we'll bring this one in, move the magnets up so that we're not getting them in the way, and go ahead and bring this up a little bit further. There we go. And we'll put that one about so. So let's go ahead and do this. Okay, very nice. Let's close this up for a minute. And move this one out of the way. Okay, so this piece will have the card right in the center here, so we can go ahead and at least adhere that portion and stamp our little card as well. So what I'm doing, this is measures 3 1/4 by 6. And so I'm going to come in here and fold it at 3 inches and score it. Or burnish it. It probably, because of it being foil, would have done better if I would have gone ahead and scored it and then do it. But for the sake of time, I'm trying to speed this up a little bit. So in the inside of it, we're going to stamp the Love You, and we're going to do that in black because we have a little heart that we're going to put around that. So let's go ahead and try and get it as much in the center as we can and still leave room to sign it. Great. Okay, so when we use this, I don't know if you've used this particular one, but when you do use it, it cuts you out not only an inside heart, but it also gives you this little framed heart, which I just absolutely love. And I did that with our new Lovely Lipstick foil paper, and so we're going to adhere that around there. But if you haven't gotten your framelits for that you probably would want to get. Well, there goes my Stamparatus. All is fine though. Okay, let's go ahead and put some adhesive behind here, and I'm just, for the sake of, again, speed and stuff, I normally would have put probably some of my Tombow liquid all-purpose adhesive on it. Alright, that looks good there, so we're going to go ahead and put that there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere this. And I decided, because of the bulkiness of the box and everything, not to do dimensionals on it. But if you would like to show some dimension on the front of it, you're more than welcome to add that portion to it. So here we're going to go ahead and place this down here. Okay. And I'm going to burnish this one more time to make sure that it lays flat. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the front of our layer that will go on the top of the box. And all of the other embellishments we're going to do with this, I will wait until I've got the box constructed, but at least all of the stamping is done in this portion. So we'll set this to the side for right now. And now we're going to do our little ape. Where did I put my ape? I stamped him, and oh, here he is, right over here. Y'all probably saw him and said, look over there, look over there. And sure enough, there he was. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go with a little bit lighter for his hand. I know a lot of times they do the darker, but I wanted, again, the coloring to show through. So I'm going to use the two colors, the darker on his fur and then the lighter on his other features. And these are the little hands that we're going to cut out. So I will speed it up through those portions where I'm trimming and the rest of the coloring. Now here I'm putting a glue dot. I'm going to place the heart first over the other heart so that it kind of pops out there. And I did cut that one on the Lovely Lipstick foil paper as well. And so now I'll speed this up as I cut his hands out. Okay, so now that I've got his little hands cut out, I'm just going to, real quickly on my silicone sheet here, put me some adhesive, that way it only goes on, and then replace his hands where they were up underneath the heart. So it shows that he is holding it. And again, this gives a little bit of dimension, and yeah, they get a little bit tiny here, but it all works out. And you want to work it where it folds right into where his other hands were in his first. So there we go. Isn't that really cute? Okay, so now we need to stamp I'm Ape About You. So let's go ahead and get that one. Let's see if I've got it out here. There it is. And we'll put this one in here for right now. And I need this to be right here where it doesn't cover him, but doesn't go off the others either. Well, for a pulling tab anyway. Because you need kind of a stiff acrylic piece, and since our window sheets wasn't that stiff, I went ahead and I put two together. So I'm going to, and they measure about 3/4 of an inch by 5.5, and I'm going to put me a strip of tear and tape to put them together with, hold them together. And whoops, there goes. Here we go. And then I'll just put this on there. And then what I'm going to do is to take my two pieces for my ape, and I'm going to adhere this, a piece of this to the back here, again with some tear and tape just to help me with the sturdiness of it. And then I'll adhere this to here, and then we'll place it down in the box, and that's the part that'll pop up, okay? So let's go ahead and get me a piece of tear and tape here again. Okay. And then let's go ahead and add here. I'm going to get my adhesive sheet out here. That way I can go over the edges and it won't stick to the paper or anything until I'm ready to seal it. Okay. That looks good. Okay. So let's go ahead and put this down, kind of making like a little lollipop out of it. That's one way of looking at it. And if you have any excess adhesive that comes through your little holes and stuff, you can use your finger and roll it off, or later I can get one of my glue erasers out and do that. So looks like I may have gotten this a little bit crooked, but I think it'll work okay. Love is in the air, and I hope you'll hit for the other ladies that are also in the blog hop, and be sure and visit their blogs as well for their ideas. But here are the two boxes that I made, and as I mentioned, I'll have Samantha's link down below, so stop by and see what she had done on her original box. All right, thank you and have a blessed day.